This lab, we were doing some recon on a bug bounty program, a website that was listed as a bug bounty program. The website I chose to do my recon on was GameStop.com. So for the bug bounty, GameStop.com. And initially, what I looked at was organizational structure. So I looked for that, and I found this website, that the org.com. I wasn't too sure how legit these things were, so I had to go on LinkedIn to verify that everything that they say was um, legitimate, and I would also just cross-reference Google to see if I could find anything. So I found that Matt Furlong was the CEO and director, so I verified him. I also took liberty of just kind of starting a little background on these people. He got his BS in finance at Miami University. So maybe you could if you want to do some spearfishing attacks, you could you know point something out with Miami University, or you could get the CTO and him going to Michigan State for electrical engineering. You could kind of start a conversation that way. So you could aim your attack towards them. The CFO, she has a lot of education, University of California, Berkeley, Notre Dame. So these things are conversation starters. Just things to kind of send an email. If you want to send an email for alumni, they might click on that, and that might get you in. Um, so for the domain names that they own, I went ahead and I used a tool called um, analytics relationships.py. It's a tool written in Python, and what this does is it looks for related domains and subdomains using Google Analytics. So it's not for sure. You do have to go one by one on these and make sure and verify them. I use this in Linux, in Kali Linux, so you do have to go one by one and verify them. Um, and one thing I want to add for this, I did look this up on LinkedIn. So I read somewhere and I saw a course that mentioned that if you want to use these type of accounts like LinkedIn, because LinkedIn does register your profile and review your profile, you should use a what's called a sock puppet account, and you can create one easily. Here's some notes I created. There's a fake name generator. It generates a fake name. It does a lot of things. It gives you phone number. It gives you a place where they live, things like that. And if you want to create a picture, this person does not exist.com creates just random pictures from all over the web. So it creates that. So it's just a great resource for that. So back to the project. So I found out the domain names that they owned, and we go off and test all these. There was a pretty good amount of domains that were associated with it, but you're not 100% sure if they own them. You could also go once you figure out what they own exactly. The only one I found that they actually own was GameStop.com. Once you find out what they own, then you could go and do a dirtbuster and find the directories that are under that domain. So then maybe a dirtbuster will attack, will or not attack, but you'll find a directory, interesting directory that shouldn't be there. As for the IP ranges and server names that they own, this is what I found by doing a OS in Kelly. Phone numbers and addresses. So I found these customer phone numbers. I did a Google Dorks on this, but I really couldn't find much. Um, and I did find like an international filing um, where it had their corporate address, and I was able to start up looking into Google Maps and finding the street views, and then I found the aerial views. And these street views are great because you're able to see that if you want to do some recon, you could park here, and nobody will see anything. It'll just be normal. You're able to see that there's more businesses around. That you could even park here, and it'll seem just like a normal everyday life um, type of thing. So you won't seem too suspicious while you're doing it. Then I did Google Dorking to find some files. Um, I identified. I didn't really identify any PowerPoint files, but for example, I identified this one, which is an XLS file. Um, uh, but other than that, they really didn't have too much out there. They had a bunch of PDFs. Just on their investor relationships. For Netcraft, that was one thing that I had an issue with. Their MX servers, I also had an issue with that one, but their NS servers, I did find this information right here. Additional host names on their IP addresses. I tried doing a DNS zone transfer on these NS servers, but I couldn't. I tried it with the D command, the NS lookup command, and the host command, but I couldn't, and I ran into some issues there. Um, Ultimately, I really enjoyed this recon, and I could see how you could create a whole dossier for for a company, um, using Google Docs, using Kali Linux, using just all the tools at your disposal.